India's favorite dairy brand, Amul, known for its tagline Taste of India, is launched fresh milk in the US market. Now, even though Amul exports milk outside of India, this is Amul's first international foray for the very first time on its platform. The move marks a milestone for Amul as it ventures into United States market. This comes, in fact, after Prime Minister Modi asked Amul to emerge as world's largest dairy producer. Launching their first fresh product range in the US signifies a strategic move by Amul to tap into a market with a substantial Indian diaspora. It also reflects the brand's dedication to providing consumers with authentic Indian dairy products, while also catering to diverse preferences of the global market. Now, this foray into the US is strategic. It also marks Amul, which is one of the favorite brands of dairy here in India, a foray into the US markets. By the way of milk for now, Krishna, could be more products later.
Oh, definitely. And what a proud moment it is for a made in India brand. It doesn't get more made in India than Amul. And I love the way they've gone to the US. They've tied up with a 108-year-old milk cooperative. And you're talking about one of the oldest milk cooperatives in India, tying up. This makes so much branding sense. They're not tying up with some big commercial outfit over there. They're tying up with another milk cooperative outfit, and they're launching all the brands that the milk brands: Amul Taza, Amul Gold, all those things that's available in a nearby store for us here as in India. The same Tetra Packs will be available to consumers in the US as well. Bear in mind, Amul already exports to around 50 countries across the world. So in that sense, this is not a first.
This is not new.
This is not new. But what is new is that you're talking about a market like US, an over-penetrated dairy market like the US, where Amul is entering. So which is a proud moment for not just an India-made product, but an India-made brand as well. Because bear in mind, all the sourcing of the milk is going to be from their tie-up with the cooperative Milk Cooperative Association, Michigan Milk Cooperative Association in the US, and Amul will be focusing on branding and marketing. That's what it's going to be focusing on, because we know how well for all the limited amount of money that Amul spends on advertising and marketing, barely 1% of its revenues go into advertising and marketing, but
Absolutely.
the quality of their campaigns, the quality, the impact of their advertising campaigns.
We can't let go of this discussion without really discussing the Amul girl,
Yes.
which has now become a very important figure in not just the social delivery of messages, important messages commemorating important dates and days in India, but also in a way representing a homegrown brand that came by the way of a cooperative, emerged from Gujarat, has a rich legacy, was also a part of India's white revolution, the milk revolution, now finally expanding to the US. This is literally a story of, Krishna, India going global.
Yeah, so I want to know what's going to happen with the Amul Girl campaigns in the US, because you know what, the Amul Girl
Will there be social commentary from Amul Girl in the US, perhaps?
I mean, talking about social commentary, I was just recently looking at a campaign by the Amul Girl, which referred to a Malayalam film. There's a Malayalam film called Manjumal Boys, which is a super duper hit across the south of India, which I'm pretty sure nobody across north of India even knows. But here you have Amul taking the name of the movie and calling it Manj Amul Boys. And I'm like, and I spoke to the MD, Mr. Jayan Mehta, about it. I asked him, are you sure that this campaign is a pan-India campaign? He's like, yeah. So when it comes to delivering social messages, Shweta, it's not just the typical things that they go for. They are educating people by catching on to trends that are huge, that the country needs to know from a particular region. They say local is the way to go. So they're picking up a local trend and making a campaign around it. So the way Amul is going forward with its own branding and marketing campaign in India is fascinating. They're not just going for these big, broad headlines, which they used to do once upon a time.
Absolutely.
They're going extremely intensely local, which is trending, which can make a lot of sense to people, to young people,
and diverse.
So they're looking at diversifying their own outreach within India, and at that. In that moment, they're trying to diversify their outreach to the US. So I want to know how the Amul Girl ads will pick up the latest trending stories in the US and probably use that to sell the Amul brand amongst the in the market in the US. So what is great about Amul is the fact that they're not a brand which rests on their laurels.
Absolutely.
They catch on to what is happening, keeping the finger on the pulse of the people, what is on top of their mind, and pushing their products, albeit all good quality products which are sourced correctly, and also bear in mind, Amul is one of those brands which make sure the farmers, the milk farmers, are big beneficiaries, for all the success that brand Amul has in the stores.
Absolutely, and you spoke to the chief of Amul at the moment, Jayan Mehta, at What India Thinks Today, the TV9 Global Summit. What were your key takeaways on what Amul is planning next?
Yeah. One is that more than planning next, what it is always in consistently planning. For example, Amul uses a lot of technology in its daily operations. Everything is on an app. So the farmer who feeds the milk into the system knows how much milk has been fed into the system. The system knows how much milk has been processed into butter and cheese and other things. So it's a highly tech-driven operation. It's not just, Mr. Jayan Mehta calls himself a dudwala, so to speak. But the fact of the matter is that, Amul is one of the highest technology dudwalas in the world possible.
Absolutely.
So which means that they can bring a lot of experience that they have using technology in terms of sourcing milk and making sure it's all is accounted for, and making sure the resources are used to the optimal, and bring that to the US as well. And another lesson that Amul can teach to the Western world is how to ensure that the farmers, the milk farmers who ensure that you get a steady supply of milk, how to compensate them, how to ensure that their livelihoods are taken care of. This is responsible business. This is socially responsible business at the core of it all that has been driving Amul all these years.
And people's movement, how cooperatives can also become multinational companies. Perhaps Amul there, a prime example of that. Now expanding base to the US.